API 1, Android devices have had the ability to show toast in their apps. And like the toast of a toaster, the toast pops up at the bottom and displays a message for a very brief period of time. So there are two different lengths of time that you can use in a toast widget. One is 1.5 seconds will be displayed, plus the fade in, fade out. One is called a short length and displays for 1.5 seconds, plus the fade in, fade out. The length long duration has a time of 3 seconds. Well, with API 23, Google added in a new widget called a Snack Bar. And these are bite-size information just like the toast. By default, they pop up at the bottom and take the full width. So again, quick is just 1.5 seconds. Long is 3 seconds. And you might say, well, what's the difference here? Because the only thing I see different is the appearance. The toast is a little bit lighter and shorter, so the length fits the text, whereas the snack bar goes from right to left, is darker. Well, one big difference is there's also an indefinite length in which the snack bar will stay up forever until the user dismisses it. And they can dismiss it by swiping. Now here in the emulator, that swipe does not work, but it does work on my phone. But just to kind of simulate that, they can swipe and it goes away. If you're using an indefinite one, though, I think you also want to add another feature of a snack bar, which is an action. So you can have an action button on the right-hand side, and I named it dismiss. And it doesn't do anything, but it does get rid of the snack bar. Now with the snack bar, we can also change the color of the snack bar, change the color of the text, change the color of the action button, and we can create some code to do something when the user clicks the action button. So in this case, when I click me, I'm going to change the background of my screen to cyan. Now I'm not sure why you would use a snack bar to do that, but just to show that you can write code to do something. Oftentimes, toast and snack bars are simply messages that come up, maybe confirming that you deleted an object or a record out of a database, or maybe that you're getting a phone call, or you've just gotten a text message. I'm going to reload. One thing I want to show you is when you have an indefinite snack bar or multiple toast, only one can be displayed at a time. So I haven't swiped to get rid of this one. I haven't clicked dismiss. But if I then choose snack bar short, it replaces it, and then after the period of time of 1.5 seconds, it disappears. Let's take a look at how these are created. I originally created my layout in the activity main XML file, and all I did was a text view and then 7 buttons and created a vertical chain. But then I also did another XML file, basically the same thing. It's going to look pretty much the same. I actually got rid of one of the buttons, so there's one less at this point. However, the reason I did this was I wanted this to be in a coordinator layout. Now the reason for that is if you want the user to be able to dismiss a snack bar prematurely or an indefinite snack bar by swiping, it only works if the snack bar is inside a coordinator layout. The other thing we can also do with the snack bar is rather than have it appear at the bottom, you can have it set above any other view in your layout. Let me make a quick change and demonstrate that. So here I changed my snack bar set background action to have it appear above the snack bar length long button. So it's not at the bottom, it's wherever I positioned it. And I can only do that if I have it in a coordinator layout. In most cases, you're probably going at the bottom, and if you don't need to worry about people swiping to close it, then it's not a big deal to put it inside a coordinator layout. Let me go back to my layout and show you how I created the coordinator layout. So all I did was in the layout resource folder, right-click, new layout resource file, and rather than a constraint layout, I set it to a coordinator layout. And I gave it a name of coordinator.xml. Then I still wanted to do a constraint layout, or you could do a linear layout or a table layout, whatever you needed to do. So I added a constraint layout inside the coordinator layout simply by going to layouts and dragging a constraint layout down and then creating my views or widgets inside that constraint layout as we normally would do. So let's look then at how the code for the toast works. So notice I did add a import of android.widget.toast, and there's also a widget.coordinator layout and an android.material.snackbar.snackbar imports that have been added in. So the button for my toast short is right here. I simply created a function called toast short, and I created a string, just hello from SMCC. That's what I want to display in the toast. And then I'm using the toast widget dot, and the method is make text, and we provide a context. You can just put this, and then the message you want to have displayed. Now I could do this as a literal string here, but I already had toast message, so I used that variable, and then specify the duration. So toast dot length underscore short. That will give it the 1.5 seconds. I conclude that method, then stringing another method of dot show, and that gives me that brief 1.5 second message that says hello from SMCC. For the toast long, I basically did the same thing, except for the duration is toast.lengthLong, and I created a variable for my toast equaling that toast object with the dot make text method for the information to be displayed, and then rather than doing the dot show at the end, I did my toast.show. Either way works great. It's a matter of personal preference and how you want to set this up. You could also have another variable that's going to be the length, the duration. So that's how the toasts are created. Now the snack bar is very similar, and for the snack bar I created a reference to the coordinator layout using find view by ID. The snack bar, I also created a variable called my snack bar. It's going to equal snack bar, and rather than make text, it's dot make, so slightly different. Pass it the view ID, then the text you want to have displayed. Again, I could have used a variable here. I did a literal string of a quick snack, and then my length is snackbar.length short. Not much different. And then I display it with the show method. Same thing with the long. The only difference here, I use snackbar.length long. Now for the indefinite one, I used a variable message rather than a hard-coded literal string, but then the duration is snackbar.length underscore indefinite, and that will stay up until the user swipes and closes it. I also added, in this case, an action button. So I have my snackbar.setAction. The text I want to have displayed, I want the word dismiss, and then in the curly brackets what I want it to do. Now I just said, I gave it a comment of do something. I actually don't do anything. So it still executes and does nothing basically, but it closes that snack bar. So it does accomplish the dismiss. Now I also changed the color of that text for dismiss for my action text color. So using the .set action text color and specifying the color I want. I could here use the get color and in parentheses r.color. Whatever the reference is. So I could say get color r.color and then I can see my different colors that I have. So I see the colors that are in my color resource file, and I can then choose whichever color I want, double click on it, and use the purple underscore 200 as my action text color. And then finally, for the action background, we're changing the background color. Basically did the same thing, set up a message string, did the length at indefinite, but I wanted to demonstrate you can also change the background color. So I made it red, made the text color black, and I made the action text color button text white. Now where I was demonstrating that I was having that appear somewhere else other than at the bottom, that was set up by the my snackbar.set anchor view and you specify the view that you want it to appear above. So in this case, I use the BTN Snack Bar L. That's my Snack Bar long length button. And then for the set action inside the brackets, I created a variable called Cohort, which is my coordinator layout. I could have also done the constraint layout and colored that as well. We'll do the coordinator layout. That's basically the root layout, and set its background to color.cyan. So that is how you code toast and snack bars. And by the way, a little tip here was I went into my settings. In the live templates, I created a snack bar widget with all my code and a toast widget. And so when I'm writing my code, I can say SF widget toast. There's my code for the toast. All I need to do is change the message and maybe change the duration if I want it to be short. And then for the snack bar, same thing. Widget snack bar, and there's my code. Now I'm getting a problem here because I already have those variables created or referenced. So I could take out the variable designation here. Now in this case, if I ran this, we wouldn't see this snack bar because this one would replace it. But again, just the reference, the message, create the snack bar object, including the length, and then you could change your colors. If you want to have it displayed somewhere other than the bottom, I don't necessarily recommend that. Normally you want your app to look and behave as the user would expect, and they're going to expect that toast and snack bars appear at the bottom. And then the action, what the text is of the button that you want there. So I have click me as the default, but again up here I changed it to dismiss, and then I show the snack bar. That is toast and snack bars. And now I'm hungry. If you just jumped into this video, you can see all the videos from the Android App Development Cohort playlist by clicking on the image in the lower right. And if you'd like to be alerted to future videos that I create, you can click my picture up in the top right and subscribe to the channel.